You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, and Calvin Butenhoff coming to you live from our studio here at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same. It's 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Lots of things coming up on the show for you today. Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, host Pat Kreitlow, joining us after the 9:30 news. He's on the road. He's actually in Texas, but still doing the show. He is a dedicated broadcaster.
He is.
Going to be joining us after 9:30. We're going to talk a little bit about Tom Tiffany, of course, has entered the gubernatorial race. And apparently, since he made his big announcement that he's jumping into the race, his website has changed.
It's Tom version 2.0.
Tom 2.0.
Tom Tiffany 2.0. Tom Tiffany. Yeah. We'll work on it. But yeah, it's exactly what needs to happen for someone running for this kind of office. And we'll see where it takes him.
We'll talk about that with Pat Kreitlow. In hour number 2, she is back, and you can catch her across Civic Media. The fabulous farm babe, Pam Jahnke, is going to be joining us after 10 o'clock. We love Pam, and we're going to be talking about tariffs and what she's hearing from Wisconsin farmers on how this is affecting them and how they feel about this alleged bailout that's going to be coming or in 2 weeks, I'm sure. Everything's in 2 weeks. And we also want to talk about the mental health crisis, which we have talked to Pam about many times before.
Yeah.
And this, especially now with the squeeze that farmers are feeling, there has to be a lot more pressure. So we're going to talk to Pam Jahnke in hour number 2. And then the last half an hour of the show, as we always do, we'll lighten it up with audio sorbet Terry Barr. Civic Media's genie of just about everything, an award-winning journalist, does a great segment called Slice of Wisconsin, where we learn things about unique things in Wisconsin that you may not have heard of. You've never heard of the Mustard Museum.
I had never heard of the Mustard Museum, but when you hear about it, the moment you hear about it, you say,
that thing.
That makes sense.
That thing. And finally, we'll wrap up the show at the very end with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. Today, it's the hot and spicy edition.
Just like me.
Oh, yes. So stay tuned for that very briefly, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more in about 15 minutes. But the Brewers did win last night, beat those Cubbies 7-3 to take a 2-0 lead in the NLDS. Game 3 is tomorrow at Wrigley Field.
I'm going to save all of my commentary for later on.
All right. We're going to talk about the Brewers and the special train that's going down to Chicago tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
Amtrak is running a special train down there. We would love to hear from you if you're going to the game.
Yeah. Godspeed.
Yep. So let us know. And we'll talk about that in about 15 minutes. Stick around for that. Also, we wanted to congratulate our multi-state Go for the Green and Gold Text to Win contest. The grand prize winner. Calvin, let's have a little drum roll, please. The grand prize winner of those fabulous tickets. Dennis from Minocqua. Dennis from Minocqua, listening on WCQM, picked up those 2 indoor club level tickets to see Green Bay in Minnesota November 23rd at noon with a gas card to get him there and back.
So amazing.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for listening, and to everybody else, too, who took part in the contest. It was really great fun. We will be doing more of these contests.
Oh, yeah.
So just make sure that you have the Civic Media app. That's the only way to enter.
And we actually talked about it quite a bit yesterday in the second hour, but it's just a nice reminder. When you have the app, you can participate in contests. You can call us directly through the app. You can text us directly through the app. You can leave a voice note directly through the app. Even if you don't like us, you can leave because America.
Even if they're nasty.
Yeah, even if they have really graphic suggestions. But the point is you can do a lot with that app. You can also get your news from that app. You can customize it to where you live or the news that you want. And you can listen to us anywhere in the world. We've gotten text messages from New Zealand, from Vienna, East Brunswick, New Jersey. That is
the outer reaches of the world.
I think experts call it take us with you ability.
I like it.
There you go.
Go to wherever you get your apps. Go to your app store. Look for Civic Media, CIV, Civic Media, and download the Civic Media app. It is
absolutely free.
Wanted to start off with this. From the Wisconsin Examiner, Alexander Schur has the byline, Wisconsin must verify citizenship of registered voters and new applicants. A Waukesha County judge on Friday ordered the Wisconsin Elections Commission to determine if any non-citizens are registered to vote and to stop accepting voter registrations without verifying that the applicant is a U.S. citizen. There is no evidence. None. Zippo, zero. No evidence of widespread election fraud. Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. There were more than 60 court cases that they lost. He lost the election. We just can't get over. They just can't get over that. They just can't get over it.
No, this is. I think experts in the field would call this a phenomenal waste of time.
It is a phenomenal waste of time and also money. For one thing, there are no processes in order to do what this judge is asking. So there is nothing in place on how you are going to double check to see if these people are citizens.
Yeah. The thing is, this is nothing new, Jane. This has been a push from, Judge Maxwell is the one who signed the letter, and I've been trying to look him up, but I'm pretty sure where he falls on the line of politics, because they have been trying to push this narrative for a long time. Voter ID,
drop boxes are bad.
Drop boxes are bad, and everything let's just step back and take a look at all of this stuff, whether we're talking about voter ID, whether we're talking about absentee voting, whether we're talking about drop boxes, whether we're talking about now screening to make sure everyone's a citizen. First of all, once again, creating a solution out of no problem.
Yes.
Just like voter ID, creating a solution out of no problem whatsoever. And it is this is like climate change in a sense where the experts who study this have come together and said over and over again, there is not enough evidence to show widespread conspiracy in any election that takes place in this country. When people vote illegally, they usually get caught.
Yes, they do.
And they get fined or jailed. The process works. The ability for people to do their job is being hampered when you put on top of this a new process that says you now must check everyone's citizenry when they are going to vote. We trusted everyone before, and it pretty much worked the way it was. But my point being, when you take a step back and you look at all of this and all of the belly aching, well, we just want to make sure it's safe, and we want to make sure our elections are fair, and we want to make sure that those terrible human beings from other countries who can't legally vote aren't voting. This is just voter intimidation. This is voter disenfranchisement. This is trying to hamper the process and get people to not vote because they think, well, if I have to go and prove that I'm a citizen, why should I go? If I have to prove who I am, say a woman who has been married and has to change my name and get a bunch of paperwork, why would I even vote in the first place? This is all voter suppression. And it's coming from one side, and it is a guaranteed right in our Constitution to vote. What does it say about the people who are pushing the narrative then? It really is tiresome to have to keep bringing it up because you have to keep telling them they don't care about the elections. They want you to stay home.
They do. Less participation is better for them.
Yes. Less education is better for you.
Yes.
Less voting, less knowledge, less nuance, less everything. Just follow it.
Somebody said once he loved the poorly educated. Waukesha County Circuit Court Judge Michael Maxwell had opposed the election commission opposed this initial request. They said there is no state law that calls for requiring documented proof of citizenship. Mm-hmm. Also said the DOT has no obligation to match citizenship data with voter records. Again, this judge in Waukesha, the Waukesha County Circuit Court Judge Michael Maxwell, rejected that, saying the agency is failing in its duty to ensure that only lawful voters make it onto the voter rolls. If you have questions about this and how far back this goes, talk to Todd Alba.
Yes.
The host of the Todd Alba Show from 2 to 4 across the network.
Yeah.
He worked for a Republican congressman for many, many, many years.
Yeah.
He was there when they first started talking about gerrymandering districts.
He was in the room.
He was in the room where it happens.
Nice reference.
In the room where it happens. And saw the glee with which some Republican lawmakers talked about restricting the voting rights of people of color. Specifically.
Yeah.
Ask Todd about it. That's when Todd left the Republican Party
2011.
because he didn't want to be part of this.
No.
And again, if your policies are so good, then people would vote for the policies. But rather than make policy that the public wants, they are going to restrict the amount of people who can vote rather than change their policies.
Well, and also just look at the history of Wisconsin alone. They got voter ID years ago. That should have solved the quote unquote problem. But it didn't. We had to enshrine it in our Constitution for some reason. Because when you can't pass a bill, you put it in the Constitution. That comes.
You do a referendum.
Who said that? Or you do a referendum? It was. She's from the League of Women Voters.
I'm trying to blank.
Deb Cromwell.
Deb Cromwell.
Cronmiller said when you can't pass it on the floor, you put it as a referendum, and that's not the way to do things. And then, so it's in the Constitution. Now we want to make sure everyone says, how badly do you not want people to vote?
Pretty badly. Because they're still fighting drop boxes.
Yes.
They still want to fight drop boxes, which Brian Schimming, the head of the Wisconsin Republicans, encouraged people to use in the last election.
Bank your vote.
Bank your vote.
And it worked for you, too. It worked in the 2024 election for Republicans. Early voting was through the roof among Republicans because they had never really had permission. But now it's evil again. And it was only evil, I guess, for Donald Trump. Nobody else. Everybody else on there, you won. But he lost, and we need to do it again.
Well, and that still, to me, is the biggest jump out of that whole argument. Of all the people on that ballot, because all the names are on one ballot, only one race got changed.
Yeah.
And if the Democrats were really good at rigging things, then they not only would have rigged the presidential election, but they would have rigged a whole bunch of other House seats and Senate seats, right? And just locked up power.
The day the Democrats can rig anything, I mean, like the closest they're going to come to rigging an election is by writing a strongly worded letter to each county clerk and saying, hey, guys, you should make sure our person wins, because the Democrats are really good at that.
We're going to keep an eye on this and let you know what's going on with this. And by the way, check your voter registration.
Yes.
Go to myvote.wi.gov. Make sure you're still on the voter rolls. When we return, a fast train to Chicago, baby.
Chugga chugga choo choo.
Heading to Wrigley Field. You're listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning and welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Box, Sweet Cal B on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Good morning, live stream. On Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up later on today, Maggie Dawn from 4 to 6 across the network, joined by our friend and colleague Jim Santel, host of Amicus, a law review. He is going to join Maggie, and then in the 5 o'clock hour, Maggie wants to hear from you. It is Sound Off.
Oh, okay.
Sound Off with Maggie Dawn at 5:06. So join Maggie today, 4 to 6 p.m. across the network. The Brewers, they won it last night, beat the Cubbies 7-3, now leading 2 games to zip in the NLDS. Game 3 is tomorrow in Chicago at Wrigley Field. And Amtrak is running a special train.
Nice.
That is sounds like a really fun way to get down there.
I would just take the train and then come immediately back.
Just to go for a ride.
Well, I can't afford NLDS tickets. I mean, in Milwaukee, they're like $300 a piece now, so I couldn't afford Chicago prices.
I went to one game at Wrigley Field many years ago. It's a beautiful ballpark.
Yeah,
beautiful ballpark. But it's in a neighborhood.
Yes, it is.
It's really hard to get around.
It's like Lambeau Field. You're like, hey, there's Bob and Carol's house, and there's Lambeau Field right there.
Yeah, parking is always a nightmare, and traffic is always a nightmare. So taking the train
are always a nightmare.
Well, yes, taking the train down there sounds like a pretty good option.
Yeah,
and they're going to have all kinds of special things. They're decking out the Hiawatha Line train to become the Brewers Express.
Nice.
So if you're going to be on board tomorrow, you will be greeted by a disc jockey. This is from CBS 58, by the way. The Racing Sausages.
Wow.
And the Brewers 4-1 Force. I don't know what that is.
So the 4-1 Force, if you go to a Brewers game like we went to last year, that's the crew that will get up on the dugout and will dance, throw T-shirts,
gotcha.
run around. They're like a spirit squad, if you will.
Okay, they're cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Essentially. The Brew crew will be on site handing out giveaways and 300 brats to share with the first train riding fans who show up. The Brewers Express will leave the Milwaukee Intermodal Station at 8:05 tomorrow morning, and then it's going to pick up Bernie Brewer, Barrelman, and more fans at the Milwaukee Airport Railroad Station. Every car of the Brewers Express decked out in blue and yellow. Fans dropped off at Chicago Union Station before the game. The first pitch set for 4:08.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like a good. Barrelman's terrifying, by the way. Barrelman's just terrifying because there's a look in his eyes and there's a smirk that just makes me like it
makes you uncomfortable?
It makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know what Barrelman's up to, and I want Bernie Brewer to get down to brass tacks and find out what Barrelman's problem.
What's going on back there?
No, Jay, what Barrelman's problem with me is because every time I look at that thing, it's like, I know what you did. I didn't do anything. Barrelman. Yeah.
Anybody going to the game tomorrow? We would love to hear from you at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. I certainly hope that there will be a similar number of Brewers fans who head down to Wrigley to take care of the Cubbies fans that headed up here.
Well, actually, there were fans in the stands. But at least from the highlights I saw last night, lots of Brewers fans at the stadium last night.
Good.
And it seems like that's how it's been for the first game as well. I will say this, I'm still on the tweeters, and I have never witnessed a more untethered group of people than not even Cubs fans. Like, Cubs fans is a whole other argument. But like the sports writers in Chicago, the way they are incapable of accepting the fact that I'm not saying, hey, congratulate the Brewers, be happy for the Brewers, but the way they just are so mean girl petty about certain, like Jacob Misiorowski last night pitched a ball. He didn't catch it, but he got the grounder, and he ran over to first base, and he was very excited because the guy was out, and they kept moving forward. And people are making fun of him for doing that. It's like, dude, he's a 23-year-old kid. He pitches in the major leagues.
He's Nuke LaLoosh,
and he got to do something cool. Let him be excited.
They were being pissy about that?
Absolutely, they were being.
Well, they lost 2 games now, so I guess they got to find something.
Well, they gave up 7. They gave up 7 runs.
And hey, I may be the only one who did not know this, but we have an Abner.
Yes, Abner Uribe.
The Brewers have an Abner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just locks it up for us.
That's it.
We have an Abner.
Just give us the ring.
What is more baseball than the name Abner?
And I told you if a guy on the team's name was Steve Baseball, I think that's the only way. But
Abner.
Okay.
Come on.
Yep. If you want to know what that means, just look up Abner Doubleday, and that will be your reference for you Ken Burns baseball nerds like me. But yeah, he's a very, very good player. It's a very good team. It's very exciting. The excitement they have. William Contreras' home run last night. Every time he hits a home run, I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, they're firing on all cylinders. It's really good, but it's not over. There's still games to be played in this series.
Oh, yes.
And they're going to Chicago where the vibe is going to change. The energy is going to change.
Yep.
And I just want my Brew crew to keep the head down, looking forward. staying on target, as they say in the Star Wars movies. Stay on target.
When I was listening to Pat and Parker this morning coming into work, and they were talking about, it does seem to be kind of a pattern, though. We let them get like 3 runs in the first inning, and then we chase them.
Well, I mean...
And it seems to be working so far.
They got 3 runs in the first inning, then we came and got 3 runs in the first inning as well, but the first game was great. 1 run, they're like, oh, no, and then we're like, oh, they're up by 9 in the first inning. Oops.
Go Crew.
Go Crew.
Go Crew.
Boom.
News is coming up next when we come back. Pat Kreitlow from Mornings with Pat Kreitlow will be here. We're going to talk a little bit about Tom Tiffany. Stay with us. His website has changed. Stay with us. You're listening to Matt Nair on air on the vast statewide, countrywide. You can pick us up around the world on the Civic Media Radio Network. Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Buck, the Board Lord, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. You can leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Joining us now like he does every other Tuesday, no matter where he is in the world. This is the kind of fine broadcaster he is. Host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Pat Kreitlow is joining us from Texas.
So dedicated, just so dedicated to making sure that his vacation days are used on a beach.
Smart
in
move.
the wintertime, so that when I'm doing other traveling, I will show up wherever need be. So I'm in the Dallas area visiting kids and grandkids, and it's all very fun. But then for the time during the radio show when they're all sleeping in anyway,
yeah, I suppose
I just come over to one of the guest rooms here and yap, which is what I do best.
Well, we're delighted to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Wanted to start off with this, of course, not a big surprise, but I still think it's worth pointing out. Tom Tiffany recently announced he is throwing his hat in the ring to run for Wisconsin governor. He is widely at this point believed to be the front runner. He certainly has the most name recognition. But Daniel Bice, as is his wont, he goes looking around and people don't
sniff,
like
sniff,
him.
sniff.
Yep, sniffing around.
Sniff those candidates.
Yeah, and he has an article in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Representative Tom Tiffany erases abortion, gun rights, and other issues from his personal website. Yeah, that's the thing about the internet. It's forever.
It's forever.
Yep. It doesn't forget. According to this article from Daniel Bice, if you go to tomtiffany.com today, the issues page that was there forever is now gone.
Huh.
No more issues. Now it's solutions.
And what kind of solutions, Jane?
Oh.
What kind of hard-hitting, weirdly specific solutions does Tom Tiffany have now?
Let me elaborate for you.
Oh, yes.
Protect what makes Wisconsin great.
Cheese curds.
Lower cost for every Wisconsinite.
Cool. What? Wait.
Those are the solutions. Protect.
You could put that in a bill right now. That bill would pass.
Right?
Yes.
Protect what makes Wisconsin great and lower costs for every Wisconsinite. That is on his solutions page.
Todd Alba always talks about what makes Wisconsin great, and it's a great day to be a Wisconsinite. So Tom Tiffany is on the record of saying he would like to wrap Todd Alba in some bubble wrap and protect him, because that's as specific as Tom. I mean, Tom Tiffany isn't any more specific. So prove me wrong, Congressman.
So in comedy, there's a thing where
timing. No? Okay, sorry.
Well done.
Sorry, you are the professional. Please continue.
Don't you ever be funnier than me again. No, in comedy, there's this thing where if you're seasoned enough, if you've been doing it long enough, you see someone on stage, you just and they're not doing well, but they seem to be talking with confidence. You can say something to the effect of, "These aren't jokes; these are premises, and a premise is the basis of a joke. You base your joke around the premise. My point is, these are premises. These aren't jokes. These aren't solutions. These are nothing. These are
statements.
These are the answers to asking someone on the street, what do you want to see happen in Wisconsin? And they're carrying groceries and answering quick because they have things to do. These are not answers to any problems. These are just pie in the sky. whatever from a guy who wants so bad now to be of Wisconsin. When you said he threw his hat in, all I can think of now is that stupid trucker's cap that he wears that says Wisconsin, or it says home, where Wisconsin is the O, because he wants to be of Wisconsin so bad now.
Again, we're talking about an article from Daniel Bice. Pat Kreitlow is here on Matt Nair on Air. An article from Daniel Bice that talks about how TomTiffany.com has changed since Tom Tiffany announced he's going to be running for governor. His issues page is gone, replaced by a list of solutions, which include protect what makes Wisconsin great and lower costs for every Wisconsinite. Of course, no details on how we would do that or even what makes Wisconsin great.
No, because again, what he says would make Wisconsin great, might involve strip mining, throughout
yes.
the woods
Islands.
and forests, the Apostle Islands.
Not might, Pat. Will. Not might.
Yes. We understand where Tom and Tom Tiffany does not want to be that specific on his site. Now, to be fair, as Dan Schaefer pointed out on my show in the last hour, when anybody first runs for office, they tend to do a bit of a digital scrubbing or cleaning up, freshening things, I guess is the way that you could put it.
A digital dusting, perhaps.
A digital dusting where,
I was going to say something
instead
else.
Instead of the stack of magazines that are mostly based on the swimsuit issue, it's now Horde's Dairyman, or Highlights for Kids, something like that. And that's all that Tom Tiffany is doing here, is just cleaning up a bit, in much the same way that he tried to clean up his position on abortion rights by saying, I love this, it's so lawyerly, I support current law. Which does not, what it doesn't say is, if they put an abortion ban bill under my nose, I will sign it in 2 seconds. He doesn't have to say that. He just says, I support state law as it is currently written.
So
Tom, that's what you would have to do as governor. Yes.
And that's where the question I have is, so, okay, at this point, unless something crazy happens, it feels like all of the signs are pointing that Tom Tiffany, I don't want to call him the presumptive nominee, but he's working towards being the guy.
Yes.
He has to capture the Trump vote to do that. And he's done a good job. Like he has made it clear he is of the Trump camp. There's no doubting that.
Waiting for the endorsement.
No daylight.
So the question I have is, does scrubbing that information from his website actually do him damage? Because he needs to keep those Trump here's the thing is, you could still have, I am 100% pro-life, I am 100% drilling, I am 100% all of those things that Trump is, as well as that camp likes to exude. You could also throw those two ridiculous statements on there too, and it still works. Does it harm him scrubbing his website? Can people say, oh, is he trying to soften his image? And then maybe MAGA voters will be like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Do you not believe in a right to life anymore? You know what I mean? Does this harm him?
I think they understand the wink. They understand the wink that is at play here. And again, referencing back to Dan Schaefer, he made a similar point with Maria Lazar, the Court of Appeals judge now running for Wisconsin Supreme Court, who has a very deep history with extremist groups, but is billing herself as the independent candidate to get the politics out of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And there's nobody that supported her in the past that isn't hearing the wink that's in there.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to go there, go there. If you're running from the far right and then you want to build off that base, then just be big enough to do that and don't pretend to be something that you're not.
If you're just joining us, Pat Kreitlow, host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow on Civic Media, is our guest here on Matt Nair on Air. And we're talking about Tom Tiffany's campaign for Wisconsin governor and how, since he has made his announcement, his website has changed just a little bit from his long-standing positions on guns and also on abortion. Tiffany, just as a reminder, has been endorsed by Wisconsin Right to Life, Wisconsin Family Action. He has an A+ from Susan B. Anthony, Pro-Life America. And
so weird.
And it's important to point out that those groups want to get rid of not only all abortions, but also all birth control.
Yes.
Except for the rhythm method. I think that's still okay. My cousin, we can talk about the efficiency with that with my cousin who has 5 kids.
Gloria Stefan said it best. The rhythm is going to get you. All right.
Yeah, it'll get you. All right.
I was going to say, being married to an OBGYN, the rhythm method is just get used to the rhythm of a lullaby, because you'll be singing that before too much
A
longer.
long time.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the more serious point is the control that these people want over women's bodies, over everybody's bodies and decision making. These are folks that will talk all about, what makes Wisconsin great. Well, one of the things that makes Wisconsin great would be a little thing I'd call liberty. And I don't mean the insurance. I mean the actual thing that gives you the freedom to make some of your own choices and not have government impose itself between you and your doctor, for example, or who you can love and whether you can get a free public education, all of those things. But these are not the things that are supporting these couple of candidates that we're talking about, and they should just say what they really are for and stop trying to hide it.
It's almost like they're not proud of their policy positions when the light is shown upon them. And the question I have is, in a debate situation, and I'm going to pick the one like a Sarah Rodriguez or a Kelda Roys or a Fran Hong standing next to them at a podium on the debate stage. That is going to be tough for Tom Tiffany. Because Tom Tiffany he's been a relatively quiet man in the Congress. People, he's really he's really.
Yeah, because what he'll do is he sees that as an opportunity to paint any of those candidates as extreme. He will try to go on offense and claim that these are people who want abortion on demand, even at the 9th month. And yes, Fran Hong and Kelda Roys and the others will point out how they're lying 8 ways to Sunday, ironically mentioning Sunday when talking about their points of view. But the Tom Tiffany's out there will simply say, oh yeah, abortion on demand, 9th month. We've got to protect against extremists like that. So, they'll simply try to go on offense and paint any progressive candidate as something that they're not.
Yeah. I just, it's very fascinating to me that I know he's been around, and I don't want to say he came out of the woodwork, but he hasn't really made a name for himself in this stage.
Well, no, he's been enjoying a great gig.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but
great gig in a red district, a red state Senate district, a red congressional district. And now that he's got to run statewide, where the progressive or the Democratic candidate has won 15 of the last 18 statewide races, they know you can't start from the far right. You've got to try to pretend that you're in the middle and see who all you can, convince of that between now and next November.
He was asked if the Republican-controlled legislature passed a bill setting an abortion ban at less than 20 weeks, what he would do. Tiffany says, I'd have to evaluate it, but it is not my goal to change anything. Doesn't say he won't.
I'm going to look into that, Jane. I'll get back to you.
Will you get back to me? Let
exactly.
me know.
Again, just replace, Tom Tiffany with Scott Walker and replace abortion with union busting laws, so-called right to work laws, where Scott Walker said throughout 2014, oh, that's not a priority of mine. And, oh, we'll see. And I'm not seeking that. And it was like the very first bill that got passed after he got reelected, and he couldn't sign it fast enough, which was odd for it not being a priority of his. Same thing would happen here.
Well, and it's kind of like our Supreme Court. We have Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Coney Barrett, who all sat there and lied.
Stare decisis. Oh, it's already decided.
Yep, it's already decided. It's precedent. We won't touch that. Yeah, that was a lie.
Well, and another thing too, really quick, is that I mentioned that to Dan, what you just mentioned, as far as like the 2024 election and the 2016 election went one way. It was very decisive in what Wisconsin wanted in a president, but our statewide elections have been not that same kind of the two between those with regard to the Supreme Court of the state have shown very, very decisively that this state moves more in the left when it comes to our state politics. And that's something I think Tom Tiffany is going to have a hard time dealing with.
We're going to continue our conversation with Pat Kreitlow from Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Wisconsin Senior Senator Ron Johnson. He's upset.
Is he concerned?
No, he's very concerned. Oh, no. We'll talk about that next. Stay with us. You're listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, our one, our only Cal Zone on the board. Coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us. Call or text at 855-752-4960. 4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. We want to congratulate our multi-state text to win, go for the green and gold winner, the grand prize winner, Dennis from Minocqua.
Yay!
Yay, was listening to WCQM, and Dennis picked up that pair of indoor club level seats to see the Packers. I'm sorry, two teams. One wears green, the other one wears purple. Those teams, November 23rd at noon at a football field somewhere. And we have a gas card to get you there and back. So congratulations, Dennis from Minocqua, and to everybody else who entered and won our daily prize, Dave in Richland Center, and Ron and Madison and Luann in Amory, and so many more. And thanks to everybody who took part. Make sure you have the Civic Media app for the next time around, because we will have more text to win contest. That wasn't a bad save. Come on, you guys.
That was a save.
Broadcast professional.
That is a save that came from a second runner-up radio show at the WBAs. I have a piece of paper that says so.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we'd be first runner-up. If we're second place, that's
We were
first runner-up.
first runner-up.
It's like third cousin twice removed, but we're award-winning.
Pat Kreitlow is here, host of Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. We're going to talk about Senator Ron Johnson isn't happy, but I do want to mention this because there are hearings now underway. Attorney General Pam Bondi not answering questions in front of House members, and she's being asked about Jeffrey Epstein and essentially avoiding every single possible question about what evidence they have and what they're going to share and all those things. Yesterday, the President of the United States was asked whether or not he would consider granting a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, Jeffrey Epstein's procurer. And he said, first of all, he said, who? That's a name I haven't heard in so long. Who?
Yeah.
You mean the woman you wished well when she was first sentenced to prison? That woman that you wished her well. Yeah. Now he says, I haven't heard that name in so long. I'd have to take a look at it. I'll speak to the DOJ. The woman is in prison for trafficking children, and he doesn't come back with a no, I would never pardon her. He comes back with, I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
Comes back with the political version of hamana.
Yeah.
How do I get out of this?
I don't know.
No?
Well, we might.
Yeah.
He'll get back to you.
Yeah,
He'll get back to
he'll
you.
think on it. Okay, good to know. Ron Johnson is very upset because...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. Republicans say the FBI targeted Rojo's phone records as part of an investigation into January 6th, along with several other Republicans, including Chuck Grassley. Johnson says, this doesn't surprise me. It should shock every American. It's a blatant abuse of power, a blatant political persecution. There are tapes, videotapes of the fake electors, because that's what this is about. Trying to get these fake elector ballots to Mike Pence on January 6th so he would essentially throw the election to Donald Trump. These guys are on videotape, Pat.
It will never not enrage me that we were this close, it appeared, toward actual consequences for people who tried to overthrow an American election. And all Ron Johnson did yesterday, along with these other Republican senators, was confirm how close we had all come.
Yeah.
For a country to heal and to have people who tried to undermine an election or undermine confidence in it, the way that Ron Johnson did with his dog and pony show hearings, in December of 2020, and who almost became a mule for fake ballots, if only that meddling Mike Pence had gone along with the whole scheme.
Yeah, that rotten Mike Pence.
So, I mean, Ron can clutch all the pearls he wants, but he's simply reminding us the depths to which he and others knew what Trump wanted to do and were willing to go along with whatever role he had decided for them to play. And they came awfully close to getting away with it.
Yes.
But even though they didn't get away with overturning it, they got away with, avoiding any consequences. And as a result, being able to, win again, get back in power and undo any cleanup that was done to try to restore faith in American democracy. So this story is just enraging on the notion that reminds us that we're still a long way from having justice done for what Donald Trump tried to do in 2020.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Well, I'm sorry to say this. It'll never happen. We prosecuted one guy for the 2008 meltdown of Wall Street. And
he was a lackey.
He was a lackey.
He was a lackey.
You think that sitting senators and congressmen are going to be thrown in prison or even just given a fine for trying to upend our elections? And
You're
by the
probably right.
And by the way, if you think that this was an abuse of power from the FBI, you are standing up and defending the attempt of overthrowing our democracy. I'm sorry to sound dramatic, but as you said, Pat, I am tired of these guys. When it happened, they were fearing for their lives. So justifiably so.
Yes.
And we all felt for them. And now they're like, they are tourists. They were walking around. They were having a good time.
It was a love fest.
Oh, yeah, they were
January 6th was a love fest.
You're probably right, Greg, but I, for one, am one of the people going forward looking for that accountability in the next election and the election after that. I want to hear candidates say, this will not be a Gerald Ford pardoning Nixon situation.
Yep.
I will pursue this until justice is done.
Join Pat Kreitlow for Mornings with Pat Kreitlow, 6 to 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network. Thank you so very much, Pat. We will see you in a couple.
Thank you. All right.
News coming up next, and when we return, we'll be joined by the fabulous farm babe Pam Yankee. Stay close. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air on the Civic Media Radio Network.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.